All right, let's talk. Let's talk about how laughter breaks tension. Laughter doesn't always arrive because something is funny. Sometimes it arrives because something has finally stopped being held. You can feel the difference in your body. The kind of laughter that's sharp and quick, a punchline, a response, a social reflex, versus the kind that comes out slower, deeper, sometimes a little messy. The second kind isn't about humor, it's about release. And in kitchens, you see this all the time. Service ends, the noise drops, tickets stop printing, everyone's shoulders are up around their ears without realizing it. Then someone drops a tray, or says something completely wrong, or laughs at nothing in particular. And then the room exhales. Not because it's funny, but because the pressure finally has somewhere to go. That laughter isn't polished, it's not clever. Sometimes it's awkward, or too loud, or maybe lasts a little too long. But it definitely resets something. It tells the body that you can stop racing now. We don't talk enough about how much tension people carry quietly, not the dramatic kind, the everyday kind. The kind that comes from staying alert all the time, from being watched, from needing to perform competence, from holding your emotions in check so the work keeps moving. In hospitality, especially, there's an unspoken rule: keep it together. You can be fast, you can be precise, you can be tired, but you can't fall apart. So the tension builds in the jaw, in the shoulders, in the way people stop breathing fully. And laughter, real laughter, actually interrupts that. Not as a distraction, but as a discharge. Your nervous system recognizes it immediately. That's why forced jokes don't land when a room is tense. They feel wrong or out of sync. And it's probably because release can't be manufactured, it has to be allowed. And this is where people get confused about laughter. They think it's about positivity, about lightening the mood, about making things better. But most of the time, laughter doesn't make anything better, it makes things looser. And that's different. Looseness creates space, space creates movement, and movement creates relief. There's also something deeply connecting about shared laughter that isn't performative. When people laugh together without trying to be funny, Hierarchy softens, roles blur, and the room becomes human again. And in kitchens, those moments matter so much more than we actually admit. And it's because service is built on tension, timing, heat, pressure, and without that release, that tension turns inward. It becomes irritability, creates short tempers, and emotional shutdown. But laughter, the real kind, vents it. And not just outward, but inward too. And that's why laughing at yourself can feel so relieving. Not mocking, not self depreciating, but just recognizing the absurdity of being human. You misspeak, you drop something, you lose your train of thought. You laugh, not to cover it, but to acknowledge it. The laugh says, I'm not in danger, and that is powerful. From a mental health perspective, that's regulation, not analysis, not fixing, regulation. Your body releases that threat response. Because tension often comes from taking everything too seriously. Not because it is serious, but because we are afraid of the consequences of being human, afraid of being judged, afraid of being seen as incompetent, afraid of letting the mask slip. And laughter gently loosens that grip. It doesn't deny the weight, it redistributes it. And there's a difference between laughter that connects and laughter that deflects. Deflective laughter is sharp, it fills silence too quickly, it avoids discomfort. Released laughter doesn't rush. It often comes after a pause, after something real is acknowledged, and after the room feels safe enough to soften. And that safety matters. People don't laugh freely where they don't feel held. And that's true in kitchens, in families, in relationships. You can tell a lot about a space by how laughter sounds there. Is it forced? Is it loud but empty? Or is it quiet, shared, grounding? The laughter that heals doesn't draw attention to itself. It doesn't say, look at me. But it says, we are okay for a moment. And sometimes, just sometimes, that moment is enough. Especially in seasons where everything feels heavy. Not every day needs insight, not every moment needs meaning. Sometimes the most honest response to pressure is a laugh that surprises you because you didn't know you were holding that much in. That's why laughter often shows up after stress, not during calm. And it's the body that's catching up. And this matters because many people don't give themselves permission to release. They think if they laugh, they are minimizing the struggle, being careless, and not taking things seriously enough. But release doesn't erase meaning. It actually sustains it. You can care deeply and still laugh. You can be responsible and still exhale. You can hold weight without letting it crush you. In fact, laughter is often how people survive long enough to keep caring. In kitchens, in hospitals, in hard jobs, in difficult lives, laughter is how people stay human without breaking. Not the polished kind, the cracked kind. The kind that sneaks out sideways. The kind that reminds you that you're still in your body. And maybe that's the real point. Laughter that brings you back into the moment, back into yourself, back into the room. Not as a role, not as a function, just as a person who needed to let something go. So if today you found yourself laughing at something small, unexpected, slightly ridiculous, that wasn't you being unserious. That was your system saying thank you. Not jokes. Release. Still here. Still breathing. Still human. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.